Why Ottoman sultans chose foreign wives. Early sultans rarely married concubines. They kept harems of kidnapped women instead. Love was irrelevant in state matters. If sultans married, it was only to slaves. This kept the Ottoman dynasty in power. Roxolana and Suleiman were an exception. Monarchs only married for politics, not love. The Ottomans didn't want to marry Turks and empower them, so they married former slaves instead. These women came from Ukraine, Circassia, Italy, etc. Earlier sultans married Byzantine, Persian, Russian, or European princesses, but this was less common later on. The Ottomans feared another dynasty taking power. They also didn't marry concubines at first. Per Islamic law, she had to be freed first. Ottoman wives also had to be Muslim. Sultans had harems of kidnapped foreign women. There were thousands of them. Their main job was to please the Sultan. Many were from Christian countries, like Bulgaria and Russia. They were purchased like cattle. Forcing conversion to Islam was seen as a sin, but many concubines converted to Islam voluntarily. It was a chance to climb the ranks. The concubines were often uneducated peasant women. They had no primary or secondary schooling. In the harem, they were forced to learn several skills: writing, poetry, sewing, and dancing. This made them more entertaining and better mothers. But they were not free career women. Their education was narrow and had one purpose: to be obedient and produce children. No Ottoman sultan's wife avoided this process. Almost all had to manipulate and deceive the sultan. They bore many children as leverage. Only then could they marry the sultan. Before the Sultanate of Women, sultans did not marry at all. This period gave women power. It started with Suleiman's reign in 1520. It ended when Sultana Turhan died in 1683. Before Suleiman, women had zero influence on politics. But then wives and mothers gained immense power. The sultan's mother was called the Valide Sultan. Hafsa Sultan, mother of Suleiman, was the first. The Valide was second only to the sultan. She influenced the affairs, court, and staff of the empire. She had economic resources for large building projects. The Valide engaged in charity, like hospitals. She also acted as an art patron. There was also the Haseki Sultan, the sultan's official wife. The first was Roxolana, Suleiman's wife. She was the first concubine to be freed from slavery. The new title was created for her. It continued to be used for later sultans' wives. Kosem Sultan was the wife of Sultan Ahmed I. She was his most trusted advisor. She convinced him to spare his brother Mustafa's life. This ended the practice of fratricide. After Ahmed died, Kosem ensured Mustafa I took the throne. She later became regent to her son Murad IV. Kosem Sultan was Valide Sultan for 62 years. Like her predecessors, she was not Turkish. Kosem was the daughter of a Greek Orthodox priest. Her birth name was Anastasia. She was kidnapped by Ottoman raiders at 14. Although there was a glimmer of hope, most women in the harem remained slaves.